观众，很好看见你们，这是 CIN 洋言洋语 ，It's your voice。这个礼拜我们快回到美国的选举季 ，That's election season。所以 Jennifer Young 杨以一，我们陪她去跟 Sean Siebert。Sean Siebert 是一个congressman candidate， 所以杨以一跟 Sean Siebert 做采访。Sean Siebert 他是这一次反对希拉 Jackson Lee， 或者你们知道希拉 Jackson Lee 是很有名的 very well known 的民主党的 congresswoman from Houston。Sean Siebert 是共和党，他们是1月反对 have election。And also maybe you can remember in America it's every second Tuesday in November， 11月每一个第二个礼拜二有选举。That's the second time. Also, it's funny in America, every time the presidential election is on leap year. Leap year. Okay, 所以我们请你们陪杨以一去跟 Sean Siebert 共和党的 candidate 在the 18th 第18的 Congress District 做采访。
Hello， 大家好，好久不见，这是 Jennifer Yang， 这是杨语，It's your voice。今天呢，我旁边的这个人呢是 running for Congress District 18， 他的名字叫 Sean Siebert。Hi Sean, how are you doing today?
大家好。
Say hi to everybody.
I'm very happy to be here. Looking forward to our conversation and let your audience know what's going on here in the 18th District.
We're really glad to have you here today as well. Where are some places you've been? Have you ever been to China?
No, that's one place I have. My father had. My father actually did a lot of business in China. And he was actually, when he worked for a trade organization out of D.C., he was the Far East expert. He actually gave classes on the business practices through China, India, and Indonesia. So he spent a lot of time there. But I've never been there. I love the Chinese food, love my Korean food, but I've never been there. The farthest I've been is Australia. And I've been to part of Asia, which is Afghanistan, which is considered Asia. But no, I've been, let's see, every state in the United States besides Alaska, Canada, Mexico, almost all the Caribbean, all of Europe, been down to Central America, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexico, then of course Iraq, Kuwait, all those nice places.
Whenever you get the chance, I strongly recommend going to Asia. Not just for the food alone, but the culture, the places to visit, the people. It's very different. It's like how an Asian, if they see like a foreigner in Asia, their views are different.
Oh, yes, sir.
So if you get a chance, I strongly recommend it.
I do.
And you need a tour guide or a translator, don't forget about us, okay?
Okay.
I'll definitely be your personal translator and tour guide. And also, going back to what we were talking about, taxes. Okay, that's a big concern. Taxes are high. You mentioned a little bit about what you were gonna do.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well,
everyone's concerned about that.
The current U.S. tax code is 73,000 pages long, and I got a master's degree and a bachelor's degree, plus all my military studies. And you got a degree from UT as well, from communication.
Longhorn.
And I guarantee you, combined up all of our textbooks, does not equal 73,000 pages. Yeah. And I'll tell you, there's not a single CPA out there or lawyer that has read our entire tax code. And that's a problem. Our tax code has to be overhauled, simplified, so you and I, the simple people, can actually read it. Because right now we got our Treasury Secretary, the guy who's in charge of the IRS, he got in trouble for his tax because he did not understand the tax code. Mr. Geichner, that's a problem when even our guy in charge of them doesn't understand it. So yes, we have to overhaul it, simplify it. Because right now, if you make lots of money, you can hire the best attorneys, best CPAs, they go out and find the loopholes, and that's why GE pays no taxes. That's why these other extremely rich people can lower their tax rate from 26% down to below 15%. And that's wrong. It should be, if you're making X amount of dollars in that tax bracket, then you pay that tax bracket. You can't lower it down to another tax bracket.
And that also ties into, middle class, okay? Middle class is used so often, but then we tend to forget about the lower people, you
Yes.
know, the other people.
The key thing is, how do you get those jobs into those communities, or how do you get those communities out to the jobs? Two ways. One, you make sure you recruit businesses. Boeing, for example, just moved a manufacturing plant to South Carolina. Well, wait a minute. Why weren't we recruiting them to come into the 18th district? We have the infrastructure we have for the highways, the rail, the port, the big airport, and then the labor pool, and then the inexpensive land. We could have built a manufacturing plant here, got people employed, and that's one of the things you have to do as a congressman is tout and promote your district and bring business in. Another thing is, how do you get people from Acres Home, from 3rd Ward, 5th Ward, from other areas of town out to where the good paying jobs are? Right now we have a bus system, and Metro, bless their heart, they want to keep going on using buses and buses and buses. Well, I've come from places and lived in places where we have rail. You have an integrated mass transit system that includes buses, bike paths, walk path, light rail, commuter rail, and then eventually high-speed rail. But we're missing a lot of those key ingredients.
We sure are.
Once you get those key ingredients here and have a comprehensive system, a person living in Acres Home can take our mass transit, get to the good paying jobs in the energy corridor, and then come back. When he's back in his neighborhood of Acres Home or 5th Ward, he's not spending his money, which starts bringing that economy back up. And what did government do? We just invested in an infrastructure to get people from point A to point B. Another thing about comprehensive mass transit, if we have a natural disaster, we have to evacuate people, i.e., remember Rita, 18 hours to get from Houston to Dallas.
Yeah.
If we would have had our mass transit system, we could have moved our people safely from point A out of harm's way.
And much faster too.
Very fast.
Yeah.
And we would not have had the tragedy of that bus burning up and killing people,
Yeah.
or the people getting dehydrated, sent to the hospital, or dying on the side of the highway. So mass transit has a national security element to it. It's not just, as some people say, well, it's just a welfare program for government to help the poor move around. No, there's a national security element as well to it. You know, understand a lot of things government does tie back to national security. Our highway system, if you ever look at the map, look at our highway system, there's a major, every highway goes right near a major military installation. Why? So we can move our troops. Look at China, look at Germany, look at anywhere. That's how you do it, because most major infrastructure has to support national defense. But the people get a great benefit out of it.
Well, thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you.
We talked about a lot today. 今天我们有 discuss 很多问题，很多 big concerns. You know, once again, I wish you best of luck.
Well, thank you,
and
Jennifer.
Early voting, everybody. 是10月22号，你可以开始 early vote，OK？、然后呢 ，election day 是11月6号，要 mark on your calendar, make sure 10月22号 October 22nd is early voting, and November 6th is election day. Once again, thank you so much for coming,
you.
Sean, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.